build things to harness it.
Woo! That was a good one.
That's amazing. Straight above our heads. That's just incredible.
Man, how do we do that? This is where I want to be right now.
Currently in our area, 73 degrees under partly cloudy.
Happy birthday! Make a wish, buddy. Okay, now Mom's gonna cut the cake.
We all have a Disney side,
Who wants ice cream?
and the best place to show it is Disney Parks. So come to the place where the entire family can laugh, let loose, and play together. Disney Parks. Come on, it's time to show your Disney side.
Introducing the new Can-Am Spyder F3. With a cruising riding position and the most advanced vehicle stability system in the industry, you'll ride with a feeling of complete freedom and confidence. Visit your Can-Am Spyder dealer and test drive one today. The new Spyder F3.
It makes me happy to go on the computer. I like feeling smart.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has brought low-cost internet access to over 1.4 million low-income people at home.
Internet Essentials help me progress in my schoolwork. It helped my grades move higher.
Today, it's the largest broadband adoption program in America.
It helped me a lot.
Comcast NBC Universal, helping to bridge the digital divide.
Set your clock on 3 consecutive nights at 8 Eastern, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We're bringing you expert tips to improve your game.
That was so thrilling!
Don't miss the Golf Fix, School of Golf and Lesson T Live, Monday through Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Golf Channel.
Brought to you by Royal Palm Toyota. Shop now at royalpalmtoyota.com.
com/TV.
Sundays. One man's trash
Get the work.
is another man's totally awesome beer can space heater.
Hot.
Brainstormers, Sundays at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
And here's a live look at Old Faithful at Yellowstone National Park. Now, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect until 3 a.m. tonight. Several inches of snow falling today. That's a beautiful view right there. You can see a little quiet.
It is a little quiet. We'd like to wait for it.
Yeah.
We don't have the time, unfortunately.
It's probably never going to happen like when we're waiting for it, right?
But we do have to get to some other business today. More snow and freezing rain in the forecast across the northern part of the country. Storm tracker Jim Cantor is with our winter weather expert Tom Nizzle in the lab with your winter weather update.
And Chris, if Old Faithful decides to blow, let's go back to that shot, right?
Okay. It's a
seriously,
deal.
I mean, who doesn't want to see it?
It's a great shot.
Even for video, who doesn't want to see it? All right, let's play off of what Crystal talked about. All right, we had the rain, we had the high snow levels. We've got grass all over the state of California right now.
Yeah.
Fuel, essentially. We can see that.
That is the fuel. And it's greened up now, but it's not going to be long before this begins to die off. And then as it does, we've got all that fuel sitting on the ground. We get any type of Santa Ana wind, the hot conditions in here with all the dryness, and we could really set up some significant
wildfire. It won't take
wildfire.
long to start drying this out. I mean, here we are every day, 80, 90 degrees, even in the mid-70s in the mountains.
And with the drought conditions we have, and our savings bank is empty.
It's gone.
9%. This is what we store up through the winter in snowpack that provides that moisture to the reservoirs for drinking water and irrigation.
And to give everybody an idea of how bad this is, again, like we talked about, it's not only just this year, but you go back a couple of years, and it's just been awful.
Yeah, over the last 3 years. I think it was December 2012 was our last really good snowpack, and then everything stopped after that.
All right, so let's get into the current situation. Sometimes these events come out of the Rockies. They build back into the plains with their moisture before the cold air can erode, and we've got some slippery spots. Look at Decatur, 30 with freezing rain right now. But we haven't seen the offices respond to that. We haven't seen reports.
I haven't seen any road reports yet. I would not be surprised. Some of the bridges and overpasses may have an issue, but we're getting the sun up. As soon as we get the sun up, things are going to begin to warm, especially those dark asphalt roadways. Now, as we go through the rest of the day here, the model is still showing a little bit of freezing precip here, but the temperatures will warm quickly. This is an all-rain event then.
All right, so the saving grace, too, is it's going to move quickly. From Minneapolis, though, metro area, overnight, right?
Yeah, overnight. Temperatures cool enough. Watch this precip.
Do they start as rain and then go to snow?
It may start as rain. It's very brief here. We'll get a couple of hours of snow in here during that 1 a.m. to about 4 a.m. time frame. Green Bay is going to come under this mixed bag of precipitation during the morning rush hour. There's 8 a.m. and you can see right there, they could get a couple of inches of wet snow there. So that'll be something to watch in the morning.
And is this the leading edge of the cold east?
Yeah.
Behind this thing?
Yeah, now you're going to see it's going to begin to tap this air from central and even northern Canada and work its way down on the backside of this system as it heads northeast.
Does New England have to worry about on Wednesday with the ice in the valleys?
There may be briefly on Wednesday morning, and then things will warm very quickly there.
All right, so a quick mover means a quick hit of snow. Yep. Minneapolis on the cusp of about 3 to 5 inches.
Yep.
It's moving pretty quick. We'll see how when the changeover is from rain to snow.
Well, exactly.
And then let's watch this whole eastern cold wave evolve.
So here's tomorrow. Wow. And tomorrow it's nice and mild in the east, but look what happens as we go into the weekend. And again, take a look at the shades of the temperatures. Some of the coldest air in the northern hemisphere down across New England again. That drops those daily high temperatures down. I think we're looking at the high 20s into the low 30s for your highs.
And this is a little misleading to everybody, too, because they look at their phone, they say, oh, 52, that's not too bad. But when the winds are blowing at 30 miles an hour and it's a dry air mass, that's more like about 39 degrees.
It's going to feel really cold. And in fact, on the weekend, even as far south as Atlanta. Now, as we get into next week, we see how this nicely retreats the cold air back into Canada. But then as we get into the end of the week, there's still a piece of that cold air that works its way down across the Great Lakes region once again. So, we're continuing to warm on an average basis, but we're still going to get a little cold weather.
All right, so let's take a look at the roller coaster ride in Boston. Again, Tuesday, we warm up midweek, but not a whole heck of a lot here.
Right.
But then even for Boston, the bottom drops out.
There you go,
Saturday.
36 for your high on Saturday, and that is not going to feel good.
All right, so like we talked about in Killington, it's going to be colder up there. That snowpack not going anywhere, Chris. And remember, just yesterday I showed you a graph in Maine where there's at least 8 inches of snow anywhere you point in the entire state of Maine right now.
That's right.
That is something else. We want to hear about it from you. And we're hearing some spring stuff, aren't we, Anna?
We're into the first full week of spring.
Mostly.
And people are really excited. Take a look at this picture coming out of Alabama. Someone holding, what's her name? I had it right here. Debbie Green, thank you so much for sending us that picture, holding just some flowers that she found on her trail this morning.
Did she sneeze afterwards, too?
I don't know. I will ask her on Twitter. The next picture coming out of Hollister, Missouri. Another impressive shot out of Missouri.
Hey, I used to live near there.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, this is the approaching thunderstorms this morning. You're going to see some severe weather today and tomorrow. And then our last picture, Jen, you're going to love this one. Look at this guy. This is my favorite image of the morning. This came in from Long Island. She also showed us the last little patch of snow in her yard.
Is that a happy dog?
He's freezing
That dog looks like
cold.
I am over winter. The struggle is real.
The struggle is real. That looks like a lot of us before coffee in the morning.
It's like, really, Mom?
Give me some new boots. You're going to put me on TV.
All right, thank you very much. Sam's back tomorrow. Up next, Jen Carfagno and Bonnie Schneider.
Have an amazing day.
See ya.
Currently in our area, 73 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And good morning, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Bonnie Schneider. It could shape up to be a very active day with a very dynamic spring storm.
Yeah, this is what has us chatting about in weather today. All of the risks that we have out there with severe weather. It's the first time in months that we will see the chance of a severe weather watch or a warning. And we've got a lot to talk about with the chance for damaging winds, for damaging hail, and even possible tornadoes.
That's right. You know, it may be the beginning of spring, but it's the beginning of the severe weather season. And we're ramping up today and tomorrow with the potential for strong storms. In fact, take a look at this video. You can see the tornado threat, definitely something we have to take seriously this time of year as we move into the severe weather season. I love looking at those storm chaser vehicles, how they're equipped to handle anything. So here's some video to show you of what some of the worst of it looks like. But we're also keeping a close track on the Torcon of what we can expect for today.
And of course, we'll take a look at the week ahead and the weekend. We've got a real east versus west battle coming up when it comes to temperatures. We're going to take a look at a really extreme temperature pattern that we'll set up by the end of the week. It's going to literally be 2 different seasons across the nation.
Yeah, depending if you're on the west coast or the east coast, it'll feel more like winter at 32 degrees in Philadelphia, but warming up certainly out on the west coast. Talking about the Torcon for today, where is that threat for tornadoes? We could be looking at a 30% chance within 50 miles of the region into central Missouri, western Illinois, northwest Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma. So that's where the bullseye is for today. Jen?
It's been 6 months, Bonnie, since these cities across this area have seen any kind of warning when it comes to tornadoes. We want to make sure you are ahead of the game today. You know what to expect. That's one threat, but also there's the risk for hail, the risk for damaging winds, and we've got a lot going on even to start today. So this is the risk area. Everywhere in red has the chance of seeing severe weather. In orange is where you just have the chance of general thunderstorms with lightning and thunder out there. And we've already seen some of that this morning. We're going to keep the risk going through today, and we're going to time out what you can expect when. Right now, we got a little rain heading towards St. Louis. No thunder in that or lightning. But we've got some lightning and some thunderstorms here south of Omaha, northern parts of Missouri, moving into Iowa. Wouldn't be surprised if up here where we see some lightning, if we see maybe some small hail, wouldn't be at severe limits, but that's certainly a chance. We saw some earlier this morning, much earlier this morning in Fairbury, Nebraska. All right, so here's the setup for today. We've got one system tracking in. The warm front has been the focus for the rain so far, but we'll keep feeding in some moisture and some energy from our low-level jet stream, and that's going to help be one of the triggers for today to see severe weather. As we track everything, the jet stream, the main jet stream, is a bit farther north. Everything isn't lining up exactly. That's why this is not going to be a widespread big severe threat, but it is a severe threat and one that we haven't really seen in quite a while. These dew points and watching where the highest dew points are will help point to where we are going to watch for today. And then tomorrow, we have another risk for storms in a slightly different area, and Bonnie's going to take a look at that.
That's right, Jen. So the middle of the week, very active for severe weather, especially in the middle of the country. As we take a closer look now, you can see that tomorrow, while one storm departs, another comes in right on its heels. Plenty of moisture, as Jen mentioned, across areas of the south. That's only going to enhance the potential for storms with the low-level jet bringing about lots of moisture. There's that low pressure right over Missouri, and you can see our upper-level jets just dipping further down, further off to the west. That's pulling down some of that colder and drier air. So here's where the threat for severe weather, meaning damaging thunderstorms with strong winds, possibly hail as well, exists into Springfield, Missouri, so southwest Missouri, but also southeast Missouri, including Cape Girardeau, into Carbondale, Illinois. You're all facing that risk for severe weather in some major populated areas like Oklahoma City and Dallas as well. So Tuesday, Wednesday, right in the middle of the week, if you have business travel, you'll want to pay close attention to this because we are going to be looking at some big changes ahead that may impact you if you're driving or flying. Jen?
You know what else will? The snowy side to this system. It is a true spring system, weather system that has the severe side we just told you about, but also a snowy side. So let's bring in our winter weather expert, Tom Nizzle, to talk about the snow. Tom, do you think this one is going to bring a lot of snow? Will it be impactful?
I don't think it's going to be that impactful. Part of the reason is there's not as much cold air as we typically see in the middle of winter for this system. But you can go in elevation to get cold air, and back out in the Cascades right now, it's snowing pretty well above 4,000 feet. This is at Stevens Pass, Washington, and you can see that snow that is coming down here now, the snow-packed roadways. Hey, it's great for spring skiing out there. They want to get a little of that in, and it hasn't been a good year so far. We take a look at the total snowfall from this system across the Intermountain West through the Bitterroot and into the Tetons as we go through tomorrow, as much as 5 to 8 inches. Back in the Cascades, again, the higher elevations, certainly going to see close to double-digit snowfall with those snow levels above about 4,000 feet. This is a big look now at the infrared satellite imagery. Big spin in the atmosphere right here. That's all associated with this system that is going to bring the marginal snow across the north. Here is a look right now at the Cascades, and there is where the snow is occurring along that I-90 corridor there up around Snoqualmie Pass, and that will continue throughout the day. Now, we don't have a lot of cold air locked in across southern Canada. It's very far to the north right now. One of the reasons why we're not going to see all that much in the way of snowfall. Our current radar or current computer model now is going to show how this precipitation will work its way today into some colder air this evening across parts of southeastern Minnesota into Wisconsin. And watch what happens overnight. That green turns into blue as we turn into snowfall here in the colder air. Going to see an inch or so around the Minneapolis area. Green Bay into tomorrow morning's rush hour. A wintry mix here that is likely going to produce a couple of inches of snow there. This system works its way up into Ontario, Canada. And then right on the edge of this system here tomorrow evening across the higher elevations in New Hampshire into ski country there, a couple of inches of wet snow there as well, which will help the skiers as well. Again, total snowfall from the system not going to be that prodigious. We're looking at about 3 to 5 inches in and around the Green Bay area, central Wisconsin, into the UP of Michigan, guys. We'll keep you updated.
Tom, thank you. We are looking for spring, aren't we? And in the Northeast, it actually does return this week.
That's true, but the warm-up is a wet one. Coming up, how much rain and for how long?
And today's severe weather threat does include the potential for hail. We've got details on where the risk is highest, and we'll talk about the impacts when we come back. St. Louis, one of the spots we're tracking for some thunderstorms today. Right now looking gray, some rain out there. We'll get some rain first, and the chance for thunderstorms does continue throughout the region as we get you into the afternoon. Let's time out your forecast.
Now for St. Louis this afternoon, not too bad, but once you get past the dinner hour, thunderstorms start rumbling with temperatures in the 60s, rain throughout the evening and into the overnight period.
We're continuing our coverage here of this spring weather system that's spread across the middle of the country, and we'll track it all the way to the east.
This program brought to you by AARP, Real Possibilities. You're finally here. Long way from the Sandlot. First game in the majors? You don't know ARP, because this family is enjoying a cross-country baseball stadium trip they planned online at AARP Travel. It's where your journey begins with inspiration, planning, booking, and hot travel tips from real pros. If you don't think seize the trip when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Find more surprising possibilities and get to know us at aarp.org/possibilities.
Who needs a witness when you set the world in motion? The full line of Ram ProMaster vans and the all-new Ram ProMaster City, purpose-built to help you run the town. Ram.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
You know those neighbors always making weird inventions out of junk in their garage? We just gave them their own TV show.
Come on, Wind. I think I just made Mother Nature my bitch. One man's trash. This is perfect. Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers, Sundays at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 73 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
You just never know what's going to happen.
That was a good one.
Heartburn. Did someone say burn? Try Alka-Seltzer Relief Chews. They work just as fast and are proven to taste better than Tom's Smoothies assorted fruit.
Amazing.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. Enjoy the relief.
The designer event is going on now at Men's Warehouse. Designer suits are on sale for $249.99. Non-iron designer dress shirts, $34.99. Plus, buy one, get one free on almost everything else in the store. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Sir, we're going to need you on the runway later.
Don't let a severe cold hold you back. Get Theraflu with the power of 3 medicines to take on your worst pain and fever, cough, and nasal congestion. It breaks you free from your toughest cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
Whatever their stickers say, they'll all lose suction because their filters clog. But with our sonic tips oscillating at 5,000 Hertz, only new Dyson Kinetic Science won't lose suction.
Let's take a live look at radar now. You can see storms rumbling across Missouri, working their way into St. Louis. And then north of that, we're getting a little bit of cold air. You may see some of that change over to some flurries, but strong thunderstorms with lightning just south of Omaha, working their way up towards Des Moines. So it's already getting pretty active, Jen, as we look across the nation's heartland.
It is going to be a busy day, so we'll keep an eye on the radar all day. And those of you in the Northeast might be wondering what happens to this system when it gets to us. We'll talk about it in New York City. We look a live look right now out on Times Square. I love when you see the sun coming up and just running down those east-west streets. I'll tell you what, New York City, it is 30 right now. I know it is chilly out there, but we are going to be warming up this week. And yes, when the system that we've been tracking for you today and tomorrow that's going to bring active weather to the middle of the country, when it tracks to the east, it actually comes as rain. Let's take a look at the Northeast and talk temperatures here and how warm we've been so far this year. We've not been a lot of warm days, but in D.C., we had a 73 on St. Patrick's Day. Philadelphia, wish you could do that day again, right? It was great, 68 degrees on St. Patrick's Day. New York City, Boston, our warmest days were on March 11th when we were up close to 60, but not quite there. New York, we're getting into the 60s. D.C., we're practically going to be 80. How do we do it and what does it mean for the forecast? Let's take a look. So we do have temperatures warming up and we're going to stay on the cool side below average today, New York City, and tomorrow a little below average. Our average high is about 50 this time of year. But as this next system tracks in, it's going to come as rain. And as we warm up on Thursday to 65 degrees, 15 degrees above average, we're going to have rain. So yes, we get a warm up, but those southerly winds are going to bring back the moisture too. And so we don't necessarily get to go out and enjoy all of this warmer temperatures that we're going to be finding. Here we go with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame as we track this next system into the Northeast. It is going to come as rain. Temperatures in Pittsburgh get to 64 degrees. Even Binghamton, 43 degrees for us and even 49 by Thursday. So it is all rain. Boston, it's rain. New York City, it's rain. Philly, it's rain. DC, it is rain. So we are going to see a warm up coming. Checked in D.C., we are looking at the cherry blossoms. Some green buds are starting to show, but but nothing really yet really popping. So we'll see if this warm up helps.
At least the green buds, that gives a little bit of sign of hope.
Yeah.
Another place that's seeing some nicer weather where it's already blooming certainly is Los Angeles. This is MacArthur Park behind me. Looking good so far, but the temperatures are on the way up.
Yes, they are. We've got a big heat wave coming to the west. And by the time we get to the weekend, the warmth that we're going to see in the east, that's going away. The west gets all the warmth and the east really cools down.
That doesn't seem fair, but you're right. But taking a look at the forecast, in the 90s for Los Angeles towards the end of the week, back down to 81 for the weekend. And then Atlanta, look at that, 54. Friday night, it's going to drop down into the 30s here.
Such a difference, too, from Thursday to Saturday. So you can blame the jet stream, as usual, on what's going to happen. We are going to see a big ridge building across the west. This is a similar pattern, Bonnie, to what we've seen so much of the winter. Ridge in the west, big trough in the east.
Imagine if the air was colder and we had more moisture, we'd be talking about yet another winter storm. But I think at this point, we're going to be looking at just the cool weather coming into Tennessee, into Georgia, the Carolinas. I know we put away the winter coats, but guess what? You might need them Friday night and Saturday morning.
Temperatures are going to be running about 15 to 25 degrees below average. There might be a couple record lows. I saw Nashville Saturday morning maybe, and a couple spots in the Northeast on Sunday morning.
And look at the highs, 15 to 25 degrees above average, not just for California, but all the way into Billings, Phoenix. So much of the West saying, hey, it feels like summer, not even spring.
It's the time of year where the records start getting harder to beat. Like in Phoenix, you start getting up to about 100 to break a record, right? I mean, they're hard records to beat. But we're going to come close in spots.
Absolutely. In California, we're likely to see some of those records getting close, if not shattered, over the weekend due to that surging heat that's in the forecast. We'll keep you posted if we do break any of those records.
All right, well, coming up, we've got more on today's weather threat, and that is a severe weather threat, including the potential for hail.
And how the strength of a storm is connected to the size that hail is produced by it. That's coming up next.
And we're keeping track of your forecast. Let's take a look outside in St. Louis, where temperatures are 35 degrees right now. We are going to see the threat for rain and eventually the threat for thunderstorms. We'll time it out.
Honda's the only company ever to win both the Indy 500
And a Supercross Racing Championship. They were also the first to come up with this.
The Honda Dream Garage Sales Event, where you can get great deals on almost everything Honda makes, including the sporty Civic, named best value in its class. Get great deals on Civics right now.
The Honda Dream Garage Sales Event. Get a dream deal on a Civic with standard rear view camera. Now, at your Honda dealer.
With psoriatic arthritis, I had intense joint pain that got worse and worse. Then my rheumatologist prescribed Enbrel. I'm Phil Mickelson, pro golfer. Enbrel helps relieve pain and stop joint damage. I've been on the course and on the road.
Enbrel may lower your ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal events, including infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, other cancers, nervous system and blood disorders, and allergic reactions have occurred. Before starting Enbrel, your doctor should test you for tuberculosis and discuss whether you've been to a region where certain fungal infections are common. You should not start Enbrel if you have an infection like the flu. Tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have symptoms such as persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
Enbrel helped relieve my joint pain, but the best part of every journey is coming home.
Ask if Enbrel, the #1 biologic medicine prescribed by rheumatologists, can help you stop joint damage.
You know those neighbors always making weird inventions out of junk in their garage? We just gave them their own TV show.
Come on, Wind. I think I just made Mother Nature my bitch.
One man's trash
This is perfect.
is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers, Sundays at 9, only on the web.
For soft, beautiful feet, I have a professional secret. Amopay and its premium foot care line. The new Amopay Pedi Perfect Foot File gives you soft, beautiful feet effortlessly. Its microlumina rotating head buffs away hard skin, even on those hard-to-reach spots. It's amazing. You can see it and feel it. My new must-have for soft, beautiful feet. Amopay Pedi Perfect. Find it in the foot care aisle or at the registers in these stores. Amopay. Love every step.
You just never know what's going to happen.
Woo! That was a good one.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Progressive. Join over 3 million drivers who switched to Progressive last year.
I already feel like we're the most connected, but I think the solo date will seal the deal.
Sure, I offer multi-car, safe driver, and so many other discounts that people think I'm a big deal. And boy, are they right. Ladies, I can share hundreds in savings with all of you. Just visit Progressive.com today. But right now, it's choosing time. Ooh, we have a winner.
What? This is pick one of us. This is a joke, right? This is what the point of us being here is.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms during the evening. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Taking a look at radar, wow, look at the storms rolling through Nebraska at this hour. It's tapering off a little bit in Omaha, but it's not over yet. Working its way towards Creston. You can even see that cold air trying to filter in with real-time lightning showing up just north of St. Joseph. A very active start to the day, Jen, and looking at radar, this is really going to ramp up through the afternoon.
It is, and we are expecting the risk for severe weather today. This is why we are completely covering every angle of severe weather to make sure you are ready. This is the first big experience we've had really this spring with a more widespread in terms of area at risk for severe weather. So let's talk about hail. Ever wondered how we get hail? It's all about air rising into the thunderstorm and feeding that thunderstorm, making that thunderstorm grow. And as air rises into a thunderstorm, it's called an updraft. Well, you need really strong updrafts for thunderstorms to really grow tall. And the stronger the updraft, it can sustain hail, which basically are just big chunks of ice. It can sustain hail longer up in it, and hail can grow larger in size. So this is the speed it takes for an updraft to get hail to grow to the size of a pea. It's about 35 miles per hour. Air rising into a thunderstorm at 49 miles per hour, almost 50 mile per hour updraft, that would create quarter-size hail. Golf ball size hail is created by a 64 mile per hour updraft, so practically highway speed. 81 mile per hour updrafts into a thunderstorm. If you can imagine air rising that strong, that could create baseball size hail, teacup size hail, 85 miles per hour, and softball size hail, you would expect updrafts of more than 100 miles per hour. So when we talk about the hail threat, we haven't seen much of that yet this year, and it's really amazing how little hail we have seen reported this year. You look at the reports from 2015, it is 14. The lowest was 9, so we've surpassed the lowest year on record to date when it comes to hail reports. But the average at this point in the season is 820 hail reports, and we are so far below that average here. I think a lot of folks may have forgotten, right, about the hail threat this time of year. So we want to make sure that you are ready for the risk that we have out there today. We are looking at that risk starting early this morning. In fact, Bonnie, I saw some reports earlier in Nebraska,
right,
a little bit of dime-size hail, which isn't the kind that would do any damage.
It's just below the severe limit. So hail in Atchison about 0.8. So dime-sized hail, as you mentioned, reported just north of Kansas City. We've had some other reports as well in Fairbury, just about a ½ inch dime size. So this is really the first start of the day. I expect the hail to get larger and more numerous reports coming in through the afternoon.
It's quarter-size hail, which actually would cause damage, maybe to your shingles on your roof. And so quarter-size hail or 1 inch hail, that's the criteria for severe limits. And we're concerned about this in the red zone today. Parts of central and southern Missouri, also down into northwestern Arkansas, and then a part of eastern Oklahoma for today under that risk for storms.
And tomorrow, a little bit more further to the east, we can see Springfield and south as well. Fort Smith, Oklahoma City, and even Dallas runs the risk for severe weather. And so many flights go through Dallas, so it's important to note to check ahead, because when we have severe severe weather like this that could impact your travel through the middle of the week. And timing it out, you can see that as we go through the afternoon is when we start to see the storms really fire up.
It's even into this evening. I mean, you look at the timing of this, and it's beyond the dinner hour, 9 o'clock. We're going to keep an eye on this area still down here. We'll have to watch these storms for potentially be hail producers. Once we lose, pretty much all of our daytime heating, it's hard to see much more in terms of severe weather.
But then, even on tomorrow night, we'll be looking at the threat for more storms as well into Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas, as I mentioned. And Little Rock getting in on the action as well and working its way back to where we saw it today on Thursday. So some of these places getting hit twice, as we mentioned.
Coming up, we're going to talk about another angle to the storms, which is tornadoes. We've got the latest tornado condition index and where the threat of tornadoes is highest today.
And if a tornado approaches, do you know what to do? The most important key to survival when we come back.
If a denture were to be put under a microscope, we can see all the bacteria that still exists. Polident's unique MicroClean formula works in just 3 minutes, killing 99.99% of odor-causing bacteria for a cleaner, fresher, brighter denture every day.
Olive Garden's buy one, take one, starting at $12.99. Enjoy warm breadsticks, salad, and your choice of irresistible entrees like new citrus chicken Sorrento. Then take home another entree free. Buy one, take one, starting at $12.99 at Olive Garden.
When our little girl was born, we got a Subaru. It's where she said her first word. No. Saw her first day of school.
Bye-bye.
Made a best friend forever.
Oh my God.
The back seat of my Subaru is where she grew up.
What?
The 2015 Subaru Forester.
What?
Built to be there for your family. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
These scenes at a hospital in Central Africa may look like an emergency, but at Save the Children, we see this throughout the world every single day. Among the new arrivals is Kayembe. So frail, he can no longer stand. Kayembe is almost 2 years old, but his weight is less than half that of a healthy child his age.
5 grammes de malnutrition.
Kayembe is slowly dying. He needs food, and he needs medicine urgently. These are the basic things that you can help us provide by calling the number on your screen now and giving just $10 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. We know what it takes to save lives. It takes us, you, and as little as $10 a month. Save the Children is on the ground in the U.S. and all over the world, but we need your help to deliver life-saving medicine, medical care, clean water, and nutritious food to children in desperate need. For a child as critically ill as Kayembe, a single phone call can make the difference. Please, pick up the phone now. For less than 35 cents a day, you can help us save a child's life. Call now, and you'll receive this special Save the Children tote bag as a thank you for your support and a reminder of the difference you're making in children's lives. Every day, 19,000 children die from preventable causes. That's one child every 5 seconds. But it doesn't have to be this way. For just $10 a month, you can make a difference. Please, don't put this off. We need your help to get these children the critical medicine, food, and clean water they urgently need.
S'il n'y a pas assez de nourriture à donner aux enfants, les enfants vont mourir.
Call Save the Children now and help us save a child's life.
You know those neighbors always making weird inventions out of junk in their garage? We just gave them their own TV show.
Come on, Wind. I think I just made Mother Nature my bitch. One man's trash.
This is perfect.
Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers, Sundays at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
You just never know what's going to happen.
Well, take a look. This is where we are watching for the risk of thunderstorms, and we're going to show you the TORCON, which is the Tornado Conditions Index. First time of the season that we're really looking at a more widespread threat.
About 30% in central Missouri, western Illinois, northwest Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma for today. And we're also watching for the threat for severe weather tomorrow.
Yeah, so 3 on the TORCON. We're going to spend a little time today explaining what the TORCON is, how you can use it, and how we come to create these numbers here at the Weather Channel. Thanks for staying with us on Weather Center Live. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Bonnie Schneider. We're taking a look at not only what the severe weather we're expecting for today, but the last time we actually saw a tornado. This was just outside Bakersfield, California, nearly a month ago. The EF0 twister was last confirmed the tornado by the National Weather Service, and it's been a very quiet month since, but of course, since the first time this year, we're issuing a TORCON for multiple days in a row. Jen?
And the TORCON might be something that you haven't heard in quite a while, right here, and it might even be new to you if you're a new viewer to the Weather Channel. So let's explain what the TORCON is. It's the Tornado Conditions Index, and it's a way to assess the level of risk when it comes to tornadoes in your area. For example, this is a for example, an 8 on the TORCON basically means there's an 80% risk of a tornado forming within a 50-mile radius. And Dr. Greg Forbes, who has had a lot of experience and expertise in assessing tornadoes, he came up with this index, and we carry it out here every day at the Weather Channel. Basically, you get your number, it's an 8. If no matter what it is, you multiply that by 10 to get your percentage risk of a tornado. And we're looking at 3s on our TORCON for today, and that's a type of risk that we are assessing across portions of the middle of the country. We've got the severe weather threat, Bonnie, that we're continuing to watch through today when it comes to hail, damaging winds, and there is also this tornado risk. And again, for the first time this season, we have really seen multiple days worth of the chance of severe weather, and it does include the chance of tornadoes.
That's true. So far this month through March 23rd, we have no tornadoes to tell you about. The previous record was March back in 1969. The first tornado occurred on March 23rd, and in 1951, there were only 6 tornadoes, and that's the record fewest for the month.
So there's never been a March without a tornado. We're basically in uncharted territory right now. And so what we are looking at is that chance of tornadoes going into today and tomorrow. You take a look at the season as a whole, not just March, but the season as a whole. It's been quiet. You know, folks, we've only had, you look at 0 through March, but you look at season to date, 27, well below the average of 129 to date.
It sure is, of course, but it's still pretty early. We may catch up in April and May, but of course, March isn't over yet. So for today, the tornado, the TORCON within 50 miles, a 30% chance for the areas you see here in red, but there's also a severe weather threat for the areas highlighted in yellow as well. Central Missouri, western Illinois, northwest Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma.
All right, so this is the area that we're watching for today. And what's coming into today's risk is that this morning we've been watching the warm front moving north, and we've been seeing some thunderstorms fire along that warm front. There is warm, moist air returning into the area. We are going to be watching for that to be one of the factors. Plus, we're going to have our low-level jet stream, our upper-level jet stream at play. It's just that everything's not exactly lined up for today.
No, not quite, but enough that we will see the atmosphere really ramp up into the afternoon and evening hours. And there's the upper level jet. There's some much cooler and drier air coming in behind that as well. And it's really evident when you put this into motion, Jen. This is our forecast dew points starting off with this morning, and watch the numbers on one side go up and on one side go down. And it really kind of shows the moisture, of course, that we're measuring in the air and how different it is, whether you're in western Kansas or eastern Kansas, for example, or into southern Missouri area, Oklahoma, with those dew points. In Little Rock, it's 52 tonight.
It's about how easily can air rise, because rising air is what goes into creating a thunderstorm and keeping it sustained. Air that has higher dew points and has more moisture in it is lighter and will rise easier and faster. And so certainly air with higher dew points will do that. You see that kind of air as we get into Wednesday.
That's true. It's
you
not
see
even
more
over
of that
yet.
kind of air back into parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas.
It's true. It's a persistent pattern for Tuesday and for Wednesday where we have those high dew points, and we're definitely seeing some colder and drier air coming in behind it. So the setup for Springfield, Missouri, for example, calls for thunderstorms tonight into tomorrow. It's not just one day, Jen, it's two.
Exactly. All right, so we're continuing to watch the risk. Izzy, this 1-2 punch, as we're calling it. Today, we're watching an area from Missouri down into Arkansas. Tomorrow, we're going to be watching for a second area, and this is going to include parts of Oklahoma, again, into Arkansas. And so it's a slightly different situation, and we want to get more details on what we can expect. As we talked about, we haven't seen one single tornado this month. It's already March 24th, the slowest start to March for tornadoes on record.
That's right, and this beats 1969, when the first tornado of the year was reported on March 23rd. For some perspective, we spoke with Greg Carbon, the warning coordination meteorologist for the Storm Prediction Center.
It's quite remarkable, really. At this point in time, we would normally be at a watch count probably closing in on 70, and we've only had 4. So uncharted territory, I think, is the right phrase to describe this beginning of 2015 with respect to severe storms and especially tornadoes. It's hard. I mean, we have a relatively limited record of information about severe weather. I mean, it's really only about 50, 60 years of reliable records. The watch count goes back to 1970. Temperatures go back into the 1800s, so I feel a little more confident when we talk about temperatures. They're a lot easier to measure, too. So it's really difficult to tell, exactly where you are with respect to history. I'm sure there's been a stretch like this before, and there will be again, and there will be busy stretches as well. So we have a lot of variability with severe weather, and we can't let our guard down just because of a few slow months. Well, you got to wonder if something is going on, but we did have a relatively quiet stretch there in the 80s. And then, you go back to 2011, which was the year that broke all these records with respect to violent and killer tornado events. So you go from a year like 2011 to a relatively slow stretch like we've seen. 2012 had an outbreak in early March and then shut down. 2013 and 14 very slow, and 2015 maybe even slower. You got to wonder if you're in some trend. But when we look at the data, all we see is a lot of variability. Big years followed by quiet years, followed by more quiet years, and then more big years. So I'm not quite sure we can say anything certain about what this means. Every moment that goes by now in March, this event with no tornadoes becomes even more unusual. So I think the atmosphere is going to catch up to the calendar here.
Thanks so much, Greg Carbon. And as severe storms ramp up today, the threat of hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all there.
All right, so we want to ask you this. Would you know how to survive a tornado?
You're standing on your back porch when you see a terrifying specter taking shape in the clouds.
Look at the flying. Get in the house.
Hypnotized by its awesome power, you watch as the ominous funnel chews through neighborhood homes.
It's coming toward us.
Go. Read that door so I can get in.
Snap out of it.
Oh my God.
This tornado is coming straight at you. How would you survive this violent twister? Should you A, keep watching the tornado to track where it's going? B, open all doors and windows to balance the internal and external air pressure? Or C, take cover in the basement to avoid flying debris?
This is an interesting topic. I wrote about it in my book, Extreme Weather. There's a lot of misnomers as to what to do when there's a tornado, even now with all the information out there. So it'll be interesting to see what the answer is and how everyone reacts at home.
We'll have the answer after the break, but this time of year, and this is the severe weather awareness season where, every spring, National Weather Service offices sponsor these tests, and they make sure that people know what to do in the case of a tornado. We'll continue talking about this, and we'll talk more about tornadoes and the EF scale, what it means, and we have a very unique interactive explanation on how tornadoes get their rating when we come back.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms during the evening. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The future of the market is never clear, but at T. Rowe Price, we can help guide your retirement savings. Our experience is one reason 100% of our retirement funds beat their 10-year Lipper averages. So wherever your long-term goals take you, we can help you feel confident. Request your prospectus or summary prospectus with investment information, risks, fees, and expenses to read and consider carefully before investing. Call us or your advisor. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
It may seem strange, but people really can love their laxative, especially when it's Miralax. It hydrates, eases, and softens to unblock your system naturally, so you have peace of mind from start to finish. Love your laxative, Miralax.
I'll ride the highway. I'm going my way. I leave a story untold.
You just keep sending more pictures.
If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, glory, Ram.
Hut. When it comes to losing weight, everyone has a number. And if you want to get your performance back and feel great, do what I did. One call and I lost it all. 22 pounds gone.
Lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's Fast 5 Plus kit. Lose 5 pounds in your first week, plus 1 inch off your waist or your money back guaranteed.
Nutrisystem has everything you need to feel better, look better, and perform better at any age, faster than ever before.
I haven't felt this good in years. Thank you, Nutrisystem. I lost 8 pounds in the first week.
Order your 28-day Nutrisystem plan right now, including Fast 5 Plus. Get 1 week of meals, plus 1 week of energizing shakes and craving crusher shakes, free. New food selections, new expert guides. Call now and lock in 2014 prices, and shipping is free.
Whether your number's 10 or 50, make the right call. Nutrisystem.
Call 855-789-THIN now and lose your first 5 pounds fast.
I don't think people realize what shampoo is actually doing to their hair, because it's something that from the day literally you're born, they use shampoo on you. Every time you lather up with shampoo, you're stripping, removing the natural essential oils, breaking it down, causing it to be finer, thinner, and weaker. It's abuse to your hair. With When, you clean your hair, you treat your hair, you hydrate your hair, you strengthen your hair. You actually cleanse your hair with natural essential oils, botanicals, and extracts.
When is revolutionary hair care that takes the place of 5 different products, saving you time working on your hair and saving you money on all the products you won't need anymore. Call or click now to get everything you need for healthy, beautiful, shiny hair with the When No More Shampoo Starter Kit. It's a total value of over $170, but you'll pay only $29.95. That's an unbelievable 80% savings. Wen can transform your hair after just one use.
I think it's unbelievable that just using Wen once has made such a transformation in my hair.
Call or click now to get your starter kit with the Wen Cleansing Conditioner and the Wen Anti-Frizz Styling Cream. Plus, you'll get over $50 in free gifts. The Remoist Intensive Hair Repair Mask. Chaz's signature salon treatment to kickstart hydration and help repair damaged hair. And our wide tooth comb to glide Wen through your ends. Plus, Chaz's exclusively designed round bore bristle styling brush. And now get free shipping.
Just try Wen one time and you won't believe the results.
Call 1-800-883-3870 or go to getwen.com/brush right now and get the Wen No More Shampoo Starter Kit, including your free gifts and free shipping. A total value of over $170 for just $29.95. Call or click now.
Before the break, we started talking about how to survive a tornado.
We asked the question, what would you do? Well, here's the answer.
The tornado is nearly on top of your house. So what should you do next? If you chose C, seek shelter in a basement, you'd be giving yourself the best odds of survival.
The goal is to seek a place where you're not going to be directly hit by debris.
If you don't have a basement, the best thing you can do is to get to an interior closet or bathroom that has plumbing to anchor down the house.
Getting in a bathtub and putting a mattress over your head is a reasonable strategy. Getting under a piece of strong furniture, getting some pillows and blankets and wrapping them around yourself or children. Anything you can do to armor yourself is going to increase your chances of survival.
So what about the pressure differences in the windows, right?
I think it's kind of a misnomer.
I think it is a misnomer,
people think that, you're supposed to open all the windows, close all the windows. Just stay away from the windows. That's really the best thing.
Exactly. Get to safety.
Well, tornadoes are measured using the EF scale, but what is it and how's it calculated?
Meteorologist Mark Elliott explains how the ratings are made.
In order to give a tornado its EF scale rating, we don't actually measure the winds inside it. Instead, we look at the damage afterwards. For an EF0, there's not too much damage at all, maybe a couple of shingles getting blown off. By EF1, far more shingles coming off of the roof, and we might start to see a piece of the roof coming down. By EF2, much bigger problems. Entire pieces of the roof can get sheared off, while the entire house could actually get shifted on the foundation. EF3 comes around and we start to see wall problems. The walls, the exterior walls can start to tip inwards. By EF4, even those interior walls can start to collapse. That's when the small rooms that we tell you to hide in might not even save you. By EF5, the entire house can get blown off the foundation, nothing left but a slab.
Yeah, an important point to note, too, is that these ratings are given after the fact. So you don't see a tornado and say, oh, that's an EF5. It's after they create damage is when the ratings are assessed.
Absolutely. And it's important that you have this advice in mind because you want to keep your family really weather ready in case there is a tornado warning. So if you're in a home with a basement, avoid windows. Just get into the basement under some kind of sturdy protection and cover yourself with thick padding or even a sleeping bag.
Now, if you're in a house without a basement, this is a question I get commonly asked, maybe a dorm or an apartment. You want to avoid windows and go to the lowest floor possible, a small center room like a bathroom or a closet. You want to perhaps go under a stairwell or interior hallway. The key is no windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And then when you make sure you cover your head with your hands.
It's really a good idea for families, especially now, to come up with a family disaster plan. If there is a disaster, know what to do and even practice a drill going forward. If in case there's a tornado warning, where would you go? What would you do? Rehearse it before it actually happens.
If you have kids, they will also often leave that charge, right? Because they learn it in school and they want to share it with you. So it's a good time to do that as we take a look at the potential for severe weather starting today. Now, we have that risk of storms with hail, with damaging winds, and there is the isolated tornado risk as well from Missouri down to Arkansas and parts of Oklahoma.
That's true, and it's not just for today, for tomorrow. That's why you want to keep it tuned to the Weather Channel because we're going to keep you posted on where that tornado threat is for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, so one place that experiences tornado strength winds is on top of Mount Washington in New Hampshire.
Coming up, why Mount Washington is home to one of the worst weather places on the planet. And it's not the altitude.
Is it the attitude?
spicy super crunch chicken strips are not your mom's chicken strips.
What about my mom?
I like these chicken strips.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Mom, you have an admirer. She is interested?
Okay. Chicken with a kick. Spicy super crunch chicken strips. This is how you Sonic.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
It's gonna go fast. Hold on.
You just never know what's gonna happen.
Holy this is cold.
We know you can't control the weather, so we build things to harness it.
Woo! That was a good one.
That's amazing, straight above our heads. That's just incredible.
Man, how do we do that? This is where I want to be right now.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It took James Dyson 5,000 prototypes to invent the bagless vacuum. And another 10,000 to invent the only vacuum that doesn't lose suction, thanks to patented sonic tips. Everything else is history. Search Kinetic now.
Winter is hard on your face, the start of sneeze season, and the wind-blown watery eyes. That's why Puffs Plus Lotion is gentle on sensitive skin, so you can always put your best face forward. A face in need deserves Puffs indeed, and try Puffs Soft Pack today.
Puffs Plus Lotion. A face in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Grandpa Bodie, Grandma said you used to be out of control.
Really? I guess I did take some risks. I trained a little bit differently. I was a little too honest sometimes. The media is useless.
You were out of control.
But not always.
Listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
And when they're asked, what did you do to make a difference in the world? They can say, I became a soldier.
Whatever their stickers say, they'll all lose suction because their filters clog. But with our sonic tips oscillating at 5,000 Hertz, only new Dyson Kinetic Science won't lose suction.
It makes me happy to go on the computer. I like feeling smart.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has brought low-cost internet access to over 1.4 million low-income people at home.
Internet Essentials help me progress in my schoolwork. It helped my grades move higher.
Today, it's the largest broadband adoption program in America.
It helped me a lot.
Comcast NBC Universal, helping to bridge the digital divide.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-855-305-2053 now.
Long. Sundays. One man's trash. This is perfect. Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier. Brainstormers. Sundays at 9. Only on the Weather Channel.
Despite all the talk about storms with hail and damaging winds and even tornadoes, we still got winter weather to talk about.
Boy, this winter flew by, and there's a reason for it, because we've checked off almost all of the names. Look at that, all the way up to Ultima.
If you ask someone, though, in Maine or New Hampshire, Vermont, even northern New York, they're saying winter's not over, right? Because they still have snowpack on the ground.
That's true, and more snow coming from the Midwest, too. Like in Minneapolis, Tuesday night, 32 degrees, so you'll get a rain and snow mix. I hope that you're still ready for winter, even though it's spring. But Wednesday, you know, these storms, it warms up so fast, it doesn't really last very long.
All right, so we are tracking a spring storm right across portions of the middle of the country. But on the northern edge of all of it, enough cold air filtering in that for some it will be a changeover from rain to snow and or a wintry mix coming your way.
So that's really where the snow will be, where the colder air is. So you'll see it into Minnesota, into North Dakota. Be prepared, but the good news about this storm is it's not going to be a huge snowmaker that you'd have to shovel out, but we could get a couple of inches, maybe even 3.
Yeah, some winter weather advisories already up for portions of North Dakota where you see the snow in the forecast, and into parts of Wisconsin. We've got some winter weather advisories that go into effect tonight, and you'll see what happens as we time it out through today. We see the rain moving first, but then that wintry mix comes in. Minneapolis, that includes you, and parts of central and northern Wisconsin.
So right around tonight, so after the dinner hour into their overnight period, that's where we're looking at some really wintry weather for this part of the country.
It's a couple of wet inches, all right, so be ready for that. Meanwhile, Mount Washington, it boasts about being home of the world's worst weather.
In this edition of Brainstorm, Sam Champion examines why. It's our deep dive into the wows of weather.
It rises to only about 6,300 feet. That's less than half the size of Mount Washington, New Hampshire is still the Northeast's highest peak. And its summit gets hammered with some of the worst weather on the planet. But what subjects Mount Washington to this extreme wind and cold is not the elevation, but rather its unique location and topography. At 44.2 north and 77.3 west, it's at the convergence of 3 major storm tracks that cross the Northeast. And its peak stands out like an island, with all the summits around it at least 500 feet lower, so there's no landmass around Mount Washington to provide an obstacle or slow the winds down before they reach the peak. And its location. It's in an area on the globe where the storms tend to intensify. The reason? The strong temperature clash right here between the mild Gulf Stream of the Atlantic Ocean and the frigid air over eastern Canada. As a result, Mount Washington averages 110 days a year with hurricane-force wind speeds. The winter months are the windiest. There have even been recorded gusts as high as 231 miles an hour, a world record at the time, and that type of wind could slam into an average-sized house with nearly 300,000 pounds of force, or a force roughly 10 times greater than the impact of a 5-ton wrecking ball. And there's more. With frigid temperatures and high humidity combined with the wind, it can lead to a unique phenomenon called rime ice. This happens when supercooled water droplets in low-lying clouds come in contact with any object and instantly freeze. The result? A coating of white ice that can accumulate at the rapid rate of up to a foot every hour. Or an accumulation about twice as fast as the heaviest snowfall ever observed. Incredibly, despite winter wind chill temperatures that can reach a mind-numbing 100 degrees below zero, the Weather Observatory at the summit is manned all year round. At that temperature, the meteorologist could get frostbite in less than 5 minutes outside, but the station has been continuously occupied since 1932. The meteorologists brave the cold every day to take weather measurements, even when the wind chill can make it feel as cold as 70 degrees lower than the average winter temperature at the North Pole. Sam Champion, the Weather Channel.
So right now it's about 8 with a wind chill of 7 below zero at the top of Mount Washington.
It could be a lot worse up there for sure. Well, Weather Center Live is back at the top of the hour, and we're talking about the first significant severe threat of the season.
We'll time it out for you today and tomorrow's 1-2 punch.
Currently in our area, 77 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms during the evening. Low 70. Chance of rain 40%. Wednesday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 87. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Bonnie Schneider. It could shape up to be a very active day with a very dynamic spring storm.
It's really what we're talking about today is the risk for severe weather. This is the first time in months that we've been talking about the threat of perhaps severe thunderstorm watches or tornado watches or warnings. We are tracking that potential starting today, and it's the risk for damaging winds, for hail, and there is that possible tornado risk as well.
And also we're checking it for tomorrow as well. It's been a while since we've had to deal with this, pictures like what you see here. Some severe weather across, you can see some tornadoes popping up. This is unfortunately what we tend to see this time of year. Jen?
It is. And so we have that risk that we're going to keep looking at. We're also watching the forecast for the end of the week. Some big changes coming to the west and to the east, and it's literally an east versus west battle of temperatures when we talk about your forecast getting into the weekend. It really is even this morning when you look at the comparison between LA at 61 and Philly at 32 degrees. Big changes coming. All right, so we look at, though, the here and now, which is the risk for severe weather, and we are watching that risk today and tomorrow with the threat for thunderstorms that could bring severe weather. It's been quite some time since we've seen that.
All right, let's take a look at the Torcon. The Torcon threat for today in central Missouri, western Illinois, northwest Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma. It's at 3, so a 30% chance issued within 50 miles of that red area you see there.
All right, so let's take a look at what we are dealing with when it comes to the risk for severe weather starting today. We've got that chance right across central and southern Missouri, into Arkansas, into eastern parts of Oklahoma. And this is a big deal. Severe weather always is, right? But especially because it really has been months, since October for many of you, that you've even had a warning, a tornado warning at that. And there is that chance today. The main risk is hail or damaging winds, but there is an isolated tornado risk. And what we're starting with this morning are some thunderstorms. We've already had some reports of some small hail in parts of Nebraska, like around the Fairbury area. You had that much earlier this morning. Now we've got a couple of thunderstorms that are rolling right across northern parts of Missouri, close to the state line there with Iowa. Some general rain in the St. Louis area. This is not a big deal right now. It's later today when the ingredients start coming together, when we see more moisture feed back into the area, when our area of low pressure continues to move on in, and we get that low-level jet stream starting to set up, and we see the turning of the winds. Winds from the surface at the south, from the low to mid levels here coming more from the southwest, and then the upper levels, they'll be coming in from the west. Everything not matching up exactly, but matching up enough that we have that risk for severe weather today, and we're going to see that right across portions of southern Missouri into northwestern Arkansas and into Arkansas. And you'll see the dew points start to come up as well. This is a increased moisture in the atmosphere, and that leads to the risk of some thunderstorms when the air gets so buoyant. Now tomorrow we actually have the dew points going up even more, Bonnie, and that's going to lead to risk of thunderstorms tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, Jen. So when one storm departs, a second one moves in and heads to the east. east and will impact some larger cities like Dallas and Oklahoma City on Wednesdays. So this is really a 2-day event we're talking about. Warm and moist air, the low-level jet, the setup for tomorrow with that cooler, drier air coming in behind it, and then the upper-level jet stream moving pretty quickly to the north. So unfortunately, it does bring that risk for damaging winds, hail, and even tornadoes on Wednesday as well. Tomorrow, where we're looking at the threats, a little bit different than today. You can see it looks like we got south of St. Louis, Carbondale, Illinois, Cape Girardeau, into Springfield, and then back out towards Fort Smith, Oklahoma City, and Dallas. So these are big cities. If you're traveling in the middle of the week, airport travel could be impacted because we have number 3 here for 30% within 50 miles, east and central Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, southern Missouri, and that is for tomorrow. Breaking down the timing, you can see that we're watching for things fairly quiet into Wednesday afternoon, early afternoon, and then it ramps up into the afternoon and evening hours, Jen. This is where we're looking at the threat for severe weather.
It is a true spring system, weather system that has the severe side we just told you about, but also a snowy side. So let's bring in our winter weather expert, Tom Nizzle, to talk about the snow. Tom, do you think this one is going to bring a lot of snow? Will it be impactful?
I don't think it's going to be that impactful. Part of the reason is there's not as much cold air as we typically see in the middle of winter for this system. But you can go in elevation to get cold air, and back out in the Cascades right now, it's snowing pretty well above 4,000 feet. This is at Stevens Pass, Washington, and you can see that snow that is coming down here now, the snow-packed roadways. Hey, it's great for spring skiing out there. They want to get a little of that in, and it hasn't been a good year so far. We take a look at the total snowfall from this system across the Intermountain West through the Bitterroot and into the Tetons as we go through tomorrow, as much as 5 to 8 inches. Back in the Cascades, again, the higher elevations, certainly going to see close to double-digit snowfall with those snow levels above about 4,000 feet. This is a big look now at the infrared satellite imagery. Big spin in the atmosphere right here. That's all associated with this system that is going to bring the marginal snow across the north. Here is a look right now at the Cascades, and there is where the snow is occurring along that I-90